Hey everyone, this is Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club, and I'm making a layout today based on the August mood board that will come up in a moment, but I am using all of the kits today. So I have got the main kit, the embellishment kit, the pocket live kit, and the August colour kit too. And here's the mood board just about to appear. It's by Lisa Fonseca, and how gorgeous is that? So there it is, and I have printed that so that I can keep referring to it the whole way through making this layout. And the other prompt that I had today was to make a title in the same style as the one on the mood board. Okay, so that kind of flummoxed me slightly, but I managed to get there in the end. So I'm starting off with my photos. So I picked 2 Snapchat photos of me and my daughter. Oh, also the other thing was that we're supposed to scrap a selfie as well. So that's why I am in the photos. But she is too, because she makes everything look better. Okay, so now I've put my photos in 2 of those pretty little studio frames that are absolutely gorgeous. I've chosen one with a flower spray on the side, and that's in gold, and the other one is a plain doodled black frame, no flowers. So you can see that I've taken a piece of Paige Evans Truly Grateful paper. It's the one with the pretty ombre purpley pinky colour, and I have written the word attitude. So I've tried to copy the style of the word pink. You can see it just to the left of my layout there, the word believe in pink, I think the quote is, and I've kind of gone for kind of chunky letters. I haven't been brave enough to go for any of the swirly bits, but I haven't cut out the middles of the A or the D, for example. Neither of those, well, they would normally have a little cutout in the middle, wouldn't they? But I haven't done that because I wanted to go for the same style as the word pink. So there's my one of the words from my title cut out. I just hand drew it. You saw me do it. I just hand drew it in pencil, and then I've cut them out with a pair of scissors. I've also rubbed out all the pencil marks that you could see, and I'm going to do something with that in a bit. I'm still not quite sure at this point. So now I wanted to bring in a bit more of that ombre paper, so I've cut a strip of that to go down the middle of my paper. I actually moved that at some point as well, and then I thought I would extend that middle block with this fantastic chevron or zigzag print, another one of Paige's Truly Grateful papers. Really beautiful colours, and that was just crying to be cut out with the zigzags on there. So that's what I've done there. So I'm now kind of trying to figure out how I'm going to place my title. So obviously my title is quite long horizontally, and I have a big vertical strip going on with the ombre and the zigzags. So I could have switched it all around, but I wanted the ombre effect, so from light at the top to dark at the bottom. So therefore I wanted to stick with a vertical design rather than horizontal. So then it just became a case of, well, how do I fit my horizontal title in, which is quite long, because obviously I've got the word attitude all cut out in chunky letters. So I fiddle around a bit with where I'm going to put everything quite a few times. It moves around quite a lot before I finally settle on a permanent position. You can see that I have distressed the edges of those 2 paper layers, so the ombre and also the zigzags too. I have distressed those zigzags as well, and then when I stick those down, I will probably raise them all up on foam pad so there's a nice amount of dimension. Okay, so back to my title now. I'm not stuck anything down on the background yet, so I can still move stuff around, and I'm just coming in with some wet glue, and I'm sticking my letters onto a piece of spare white cardstock. The reason I'm doing that is so that I can cut it out as one piece rather than have lots of individual letters. Oh, I just realised at this point that I forgot to cut out a dot for my eye, so I just quickly did that, and I'm just finishing getting rid of all of the little bits of pencil marks that I've got left on my letters. Careful not to rub too hard, because I don't want to take the colour off of my pretty paper. Okay, so now I thought I would go around the edge of those letters with my thickish black gel pen. It's one of my favourite journaling pens, but it is quite thick, comes out with a really great amount of ink, and so I'm just drawing around all of my letters around the edges. I'm keeping them kind of individual. Where one overlaps the other, I'm not drawing the overlapping lines, if that makes sense. I just thought it would stand out. It also goes in, it kind of goes with the doodle effect around the Pretty Little Studio frames too. The mood board as well has got the doodled word, so I believe in, and then the word pink. So I thought that the doodling or the black lines would go well with the whole feel of the mood board. So there you go, there's my word attitude, and my title is actually going to be sweetness with attitude. So I have 2 more words to get in there, so you'll see how I do that in a bit. So yeah, still going to fiddle around a bit with my placement, my layout of the layout, my design of my layout, and I'm not happy. I still can't figure out what I'm going to do. And here I think I'm going to try and do the word sweetness in that kind of script font that's at the top, and fail miserably at that. And I was like, no, not doing that. I did it a couple of times and I was like, no, didn't like it. So I've decided to go for these really gorgeous script letters. They're a Pink Fresh Studio office hours set, and they're really, really lovely. Way better than I could ever write myself. So all these people who do beautiful brush work, word art and letters and things, I'm very jealous because I just can't do it. I have tried a number of times, I've practiced and I'm just rubbish at it. So I'll leave that to the people who are good at that, and I will stick to the pre-designed letters. I've just stuck those letters for the word sweetness onto a piece of white card, and I'm cutting it out too. So again, I have a whole word that I can move around as one piece rather than individual letters stuck onto my layout. It's much easier at this point to work out where I'm going to put things because I can move those 2 words around really easily and see where they look best. That's what I'm doing with the title. I'm now coming in with my heart punch, my new favourite heart punch, and I've punched out a few of those hearts in the ombre style. So I've just gone down that ombre piece of paper by page, and I've cut out some hearts. And what I thought I would do is doodle some designs onto my hearts. So I was going with some of the patterns I could see in the heart swatch on the mood board, but actually once I'd done all of the lines on them, I didn't really like them. So I just go around and add doodled lines around the edges of all of them in the end, and don't use the ones where I drew lines, diagonal lines all over them. Yeah, you've got to try these things, haven't you? Otherwise you don't know if they're going to work or not. So I'm just playing around with heart placement, where I'm going to put all those hearts. I move things around a lot on this layout. For some reason it wasn't feeling the design, it wasn't feeling the actual design of the layout, so the sketch, if you like. I wasn't feeling it, just couldn't make it work. So I had to fiddle around quite a bit to come up with a design that I really, really liked. So still trying to work out what I'm going to do with everything. You can see I'm really struggling with the whole horizontal and vertical thing. That was my issue. There we go, I'm getting there now. This is what I end up with. So I decided that the chevrons needed to be one side only, and the other side I'm going to trim down and have the ombre poking out from behind the chevron. So now I've just gone through and mixed up some texture paste, just a white texture paste by Shimmers, and I've used some of the Lindy's pink to mix up a pink texture paste, and I've used that through the Vicky Boutin stencil. That's now dry, so I'm just going to go through and be brave finally and add my paper layers to my layout. So you can see what I've done. I've trimmed down the ombre strip, it was a bit too wide. This is the other piece of that. I've just turned it round and used the other side, that lovely floral paper. I've just dressed the edge of that too, and there I'm really look now. The whole thing doesn't feel so horizontal and vertical. It didn't have those contrasting design elements, so it feels like it's kind of one whole piece now, rather than that line going both ways. Anyway, to me anyway, maybe that's not how everyone else sees it, but for me, this is now looking good. I'm happy with the way that this design has gone, and it just took me a while to get there. So I'm just poking some foam pads under each one of those chevrons, getting my photos on. I've extended out that area under my photo by using the flower stencil and the texture paste. My photos can now go on and get those in place, and then my title is going to sit nicely underneath my photos. I'm just going through with those hearts now. You can see this is the point where I realized I didn't like the lines on them, so I'm just going through and doodling around the edges of each one. I've discarded those ones at the top there, and I cut a few more as well because I felt that I needed a few more. So again, just doodling black lines around the edge. That goes in with the doodles around the word attitude and the doodled pink Pretty Little Studio frame as well. So that's all kind of brings it all together really. The links throughout the whole layout, and I'm just going to arrange those hearts on the page. I was just aiming for a kind of like a vertical design here, a vertical line going from top to bottom, and then I do add one to the top of my photo as well. I'll do that in a minute. I really loved some of the trees. I really loved the trees in this collection. Now, trees don't normally do it for me, so I don't know why I particularly loved them. I just thought they were super duper cute. So I pulled out those trees. Maybe it's because we're dressed as woodland creatures, kind of, in the Snapchat filter. And I'm just coming in with the stamp set by Femke, and I am just putting a few little circles around the layout. I'm also going in with my black pen and adding in doodled lines around the edge of my stenciled areas too, so my stenciled flowers. I've got a couple of bits of texture paste on my layout. Oh, that's why I add a heart to the top left of my photo, because I wanted to cover up a bit of texture paste that had gone awry. So there's always a reason, isn't there? You know, I was looking at, I have the layout next to me right now, so I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I wonder why I put that heart up there, because it doesn't follow the vertical line that's on the right hand side. But there you go, that's why, because I had that random piece of texture paste that hadn't gone correctly through the stencil. No mistakes, only opportunities, right? So now you can see that what I've done with my title, they're in place, and I've added the word with, using the really super duper tiny beautiful Pinkfresh Studio Just a Little lovely mini teeny tiny alphas. So I was going to be brave and draw it with my black pen, but I decided to not be brave and cheat with alpha stickers. So that's what I've done. All my hearts are now stuck in place, and my title is now stuck in place as well, or very nearly. So I'm getting there now. I'm kind of done. What I want to do now is extend the area either side of my photo clusters. So I want to extend the area to the left of the left photo, and then I want to extend the area to the right of the right photo. Obviously I've already got an embellishment cluster going on there, but I want to just make that a bit bigger. So I'm going through my ephemera at this point and working out what I want to use. I love some of the Paige Evans flowers, florals there. I'm just coming in with some of those, and there's gorgeous leaves. I mean, we've really spoiled this month. We have the Paige Evans ephemera, but we also have the floral one set as well, so we have a whole bunch of die cuts to use here. So I'm just having fun with adding those in. It adds color, it adds extra texture, it gives a whole kind of new dimension really, so it kind of makes me feel like there's an explosion of flowers and colour and happiness all on one page. So that's what I'm doing there, just adding in those leaves. I'm just getting that heart stuck in place at the top there. I'm securing my leaves with foam pads. I always like them to be raised up so that I have a decent amount of dimension on the layout. So this is a great way of bringing in extra colours as well. I've already got that yellow tone in my zigzag stripe, so I wanted to bring in another yellow into the layout as well. So that's that leaf down there. I'm now coming through with the sequins. Now, there were sequins in the Paige Evans mixed embellishment pack, they're really pretty. They're like a pink and dark pink and light pink, and then kind of tiny iridescent or white sequins. So a really lovely mix. They're all very sparkly and shiny and pretty. So I'm just getting all of those. I just kind of sprinkled them, and I'm just getting those stuck in place now with I'm using glossy accents and a paper piercing tool. So I literally just put a small amount of glossy accents on the end of my paper piercing tool, and that way I can pick up the sequin with my the edge of the end of the point, move the sequin out of the way, add a bit of glue, and then put the sequin back in position. So just now adding in a few enamel dots. They were from the same mixed embellishment pack as the sequins. And I'm just going to finally finish off with a few splatters. So I've gone for that same pink shade that I mixed with the texture paste, and I've just, it's the powder, so I've just added a small amount of water and mixed up a little bit of paint that I can pick up with a paintbrush and splatter all over my two clusters. So you can see now I still do have that vertical line going down, but the layout now is very much a horizontal big cluster in the middle where the flowers are, as well as my title is extending down. That's kind of horizontal too. So in the end, it kind of worked out quite well. I'm just doodling some hearts in place now as well, and that is me pretty much done. I've written in my journaling underneath as well. So that was my layout for today. Mood board inspired. I loved the mood board this month. It was great fun to make this layout, even though it took me a while to get there. And these are all made with the August kits. So thank you so much for joining me today. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.